Hey everyone. So, we've been talking a lot about multiplying numbers in the previous couple of videos. I just want to take a little quick detour and introduce you to a concept that is going to come up a lot more as you go through your schooling, especially in maths. And this is the idea of squaring numbers. Now, anytime a number is squared, this means a number is multiplied by itself. So we can write squaring a number means multiplying it by itself. It by itself. Cool. Okay. So that's the main definition here. Now let's just try to visualize this idea. So I've told you what this means. Now let's just quickly I'll go back to that circle counter idea I was talking about in the first video. So let's take, for example, 2 times 2, right? I'm taking two groups of 2. So move this down a tab. This, in other words, I can write as we're taking two groups of 2. So I have my 2 blue circles here, and I'm just going to take one more group of that. So I'm going to write the same thing just over here. Now, what does this shape look like? Well, to me, that kind of looks like a square. Here, here, and here. So when we multiply a number by itself, if we try to visualize this with how I've done here, it makes a square. Now compare this to, for example, I don't know, 2 times 3. Well, if I drew this out, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 counters, or counters, circles. It's just a way to sort of represent these numbers here. And you can see the shape we get is actually looks more like a rectangle. And you may remember this from the first video. We didn't really get these nice square looking things, right? But what if instead now we took, say, 3 and multiplied it by itself? We're taking this number, we're timesing it by itself. So if I did, I'll keep this consistent with the colors. If I did 3 times 3, well, that's going to give me, let's look here. I have 3 groups of 3 now. So I want my first group of 3. Hopefully everyone can see that. We're doing 3 groups of 3. So this is my 3, and I'm going to make another 2 groups of that to make up my 3. So I have another group of 3, and I have my third group of 3. And lo and behold, we get another square. Here we go. And there, and there. Cool. Every single time, I'm getting a square happening, a square shape. Now, that's just to give you a bit of the intuition and like the visual for why we even call it squaring it in the first place. But now I just want to talk about the notation for how we'd write this. So 3 times 3, we said that that multiplication was an abbreviation, sort of like a shorthand for writing addition. Now, squaring, showing numbers multiplying by themselves, we can think of as a shorthand for multiplication, and specifically multiplication with the same numbers. So this thing here, instead of writing 3 times 3, I show this as 3 and we write this 2 up the top. And this tells me the number is squared. So this tells me it is squared. So it is my base number, my 3 here, and this just shows me, this squared shows me the amount of times it was multiplied by itself. So squaring is a shorthand. You can see 3 with this 2 on the top, 3 squared, is an easier way of showing this thing. So we can think of squaring as an abbreviation. Let me write this again. Squaring, this is another definition, is a shorthand, type of shortcut way of writing a number multiplied by itself. By itself. So that's what squaring is, and that's the sort of visual idea for why we actually call it squaring in the first place. In both cases, anytime we multiply a number by itself, we make this nice little square shape by showing it visually. So by showing this 2 lots of 2 or 3 lots of 3. So that's all for today, guys. I know it's a short video. I've veered off a little bit from what we're originally talking about, but this squaring is an idea that comes along with multiplication, and this isn't the first time you're going to see it. You're going to see this idea a lot more as you progress through schooling. So I just thought I'd introduce it to you nice and early. And this idea gets mentioned in a lot of textbooks too. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.